National food holidays are filled with delicious options. Today is National Lobster Day. Our great friend of the show, Shane Rogers, is here to make sure we know how to put together a popular seafood favorite. Now I see your smile over there, Tom. Lobster bisque. You can make it at home tonight. I'm going to have it for second breakfast, I think, right? It's easy?
It's easy.
I don't believe you, but okay.
It's totally easy. You can make this with 2 lobster tails that you can get pretty much at any store, any grocery store. And the first thing we're going to do, actually the first thing we do is we've got some of the shells that we're kind of cooking down in some butter. And that's going to get all, we're going to use all parts of the lobster. We're going to get all of that flavor because that's the most flavor that we're going to get for the broth.
Okay.
So in another pan, we've got a little bit of butter melted.
Take one step back. You bought fresh or frozen lobster.
It works with either one.
Okay. And they were a whole or a tail.
I just bought the tails.
And then you had to extract.
I took the tails out of the shells.
Okay.
That's all I did.
Fast forward to now.
So now I've got the shells going in the in some butter, and I've got a little bit of butter melted over here too, and I'm just gonna pop these in here. We're gonna turn this down. These will cook really quickly, and that's why I'm not cooking them in the broth. It's really easy to overcook them. You cook them in a little bit of butter in a separate pan, you have a little more control over how long they cook, and you know, they kind of soak up some good butter flavor.
Yeah, you've got a nice like brown butter there. Is that by design, or it just got brown because we were?
It got brown
because we were waiting for us.
But I'm not really worried about that because the brown butter is going to taste nutty and delicious, and it's going to add some flavor to it. I wouldn't shy away from that at home if I had it. If it was browned a little bit, that's fine.
A lot of folks watching right now are saying, "Wait a second, why are those?" You told us, but why are those empty shells over there?
Because they give us a lot of flavor. Like when you walked into the studio, you could smell the lobster smell. That was coming from these shells cooking in butter.
Greg thought he was back in Boston.
Right, right. And you're gonna get a little brown over here too, and that's totally fine.
So they're done once they're pinky.
They're done whenever you're ready to go with it.
Okay.
You know, just get a little color. Yeah, they started out kind of that gray, unappetizing lobster color. Will you give those a little stir for me, please?
Sure, I'd be happy to.
And so over here, we've got some brown butter going on. We've got maybe like 3 tablespoons of butter.
Shane, anybody who hasn't tried lobster before, because I'm taking for granted, you know,
we've always had it.
Team shrimp, but this is top notch. I love lobster.
Right. It's just a little bit better. And here's this, you know, maybe don't make this for the whole family. Make this for a special occasion with you and your sweetheart or something like that. But see how easy it is so far? It's like butter and flour and stuff. So we're gonna pop in just about 1/8 of a teaspoon, maybe 1/4 teaspoon of some cayenne pepper, and do that to taste. I've got some smoked paprika.
You're bringing a little depth to this.
A little bit,
bisque.
and we're putting it in the butter before we put anything else in it. So we're gonna let those flavors bloom that kind of react with the fat a little better. And a little bit of white pepper.
Is this done? It looks done.
It's mostly done. Okay. It could, because it'll finish cooking kind of when we add it to the broth. But yeah, it's mostly done.
All right.
And see, just low on the butter. It's on the lowest setting. It's in butter. It's just kind of like laying there, getting ready to, you know, be delicious. So we've got this going, and it's about a medium flame. We're gonna add a couple of tablespoons of flour. And we're gonna let that bubble away.
You're making a roux.
I'm making a roux, just a quick one. And see how it butters up, or bubbles up with the butter?
Yes.
And so if you would grab me the half and half that is in the microwave.
All right, I got lost in the moment watching
that roux
right?
come
It's
really
together.
Kind of pretty.
Yes.
And so to speed this along, and I do this at home too, I'm not doing this just for the show. Have your half and half not necessarily boiling, but see how it's kind of been scalded and there's a little bit of a skin on the top? That's gonna make this come together almost immediately. Gonna pop the heat up here a little bit.
Because you'll be in sad shape if this came right out of the fridge.
Right, don't use, at the very least, make it room temperature. So we're gonna put part of it in. We're gonna stir that around so we don't have any lumps.
I could do this at home.
We're almost done. So we get that good and stirred around, add a little pinch of salt.
But you've got skills, as the kids would say.
Right, you can do this. We've all seen me do this. This is easy. Now, I mean, it didn't come together. I did have to I had to do some quality control with some lobster for a couple of days.
You gotta know how it's gonna turn out.
Yeah, I mean, you know. So basically, a lot of times when you get bisque in the restaurant, it's really thick and heavy, and you lose the lobster flavor. Part of the reason we're using half instead of heavy cream is because it's gonna be lighter. Another thing is we're not making a big, heavy, dark roux that's gonna thicken it and make it all kind of gummy. So
Two important points.
Right? So this is nearly done. The spices have bloomed. If you'll hand me that bowl over there, we're basically ready to put this in the bowl.
Okay. And this bowl is so gorgeous, it's going to make the soup taste out of this world.
Right? Because you're going to eat with your, pardon me, eat with your eyes first. So It's just got to get a few bubbles around the edge. We could pop
let that
this
bubble up,
if we
and then
needed
it'll
to.
thicken, but it won't take very long.
It's not going to take very long. In fact, it's just starting. If I hadn't touched it, there was going to be a bubble. See, there's a couple of bubbles just popping up now. And you don't want it to boil away.
Wait about a minute. You don't have to rush the gate. This is done.
That's ready.
And it does cook so very quickly, just like shrimp. What I was going for earlier was talk about that flavor. It's sort of, I used to call it oyster ham when I was growing up. I don't know why. Anyway, the oyster ham flavor of lobster.
Gosh. We used to go to this place in Syracuse called Valley's, and they would give us basically sauteed lobster. That's what made me think of doing it outside the thing. And it was a bowl of lobster and butter. No fighting with the shell or anything.
It's bubbling.
It's bubbling. There
Nice
we go.
story, but it's bubbling.
It's bubbling. No. I was done. It's perfect timing.
Look what else
look
bubbled
who's
up.
here.
Right? The bubbles.
Look who's
Criticizing
here.
her story. Nice story, but it's
Nice
bubbling.
story, but it's
No, but
bubbling.
she's like, I need some lobster.
She's like, I need to get to that bisque.
Hey, do you have any
Right?
more lobster jokes?
That is like a very special treat.
It
So
was
delicious.
Good.
Thanks so much.
We don't
Shane.
have any more. We're being shellfish.
That's right. That's right.